Hey everyone, my name is Amber. Thank you for joining me. Today I am going to be doing a book haul slash book chat. Just to give you a little bit of background information about me, I am an 8th grade ELA teacher. So part of my job is to help my students read and write. And so I can only do that when I have books available for my students in the classroom. So I have been recently acquiring several different books of different genres. So I will share these. So whether you are a teacher or you are just generally reading books for your own enjoyment, they are not just young adult books. I have some biographies and autobiographies, as well as some lifestyle books that can be helpful to people of all ages. So don't feel like you are limited specifically solely to middle school books, I should say. So if you are interested, then keep on watching. And if you haven't already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below. And if you want to get notifications for every time I post, go ahead and hit that bell as well. With that being said, let's go ahead and get started. The first book, or books, I should say, that I am going to be introducing is this Malcolm X by Any Means Necessary biography by Walter Dean Myers. Walter Dean Myers is definitely like one of my favorite authors. I feel like I still read a lot of his books. I was first introduced to him while I was still in school, and even as an adult, I enjoy reading his books. So this book, the Malcolm X book, is actually a class text that we are going to be using for this next cycle. So my students are going to be reading this along with me. This is their first nonfiction text of the year. So just as a general rule, I like to have multiple extra copies of the books for my classroom in case any of my students forget their book at home or show up unprepared. They will still be able to engage in the lesson because I have these extras. So I'm really excited to read it. I've started reading it and I need to finish it by Monday. I can definitely do it. I just need to sit down and actually do it. So that is the first book. All right. My next book is We Should All Be Feminists, and I am not going to do the author the disservice of mispronouncing her name. But I have already read this book. I had the opportunity to read it, and I really, really enjoyed it. I am also ordering more books by this author. But one of the reasons why I decided to get this book is although it is not a middle school specific book, in fact, I believe that this is actually one of the books that they will be reading in high school, either as a sophomore or a junior. I'm not sure. But definitely considering the climate that we're living in, I feel like it would be good for some of my students that are on a high school level to be able to have access to this book. So I really enjoyed it, and I hope that my students enjoy it as well. Next book up is one of my favorite series and books. First off, just a little bit of additional background information and insight about me is I am Disney obsessed, and I am not ashamed about it. I mean, as you can see here, I have on Minnie Mouse today. I have quickly grown to love this series and this author, and this is a book called Mother Knows Best by Serena Valentine. I'm sorry, Valentino. And she has this Disney villain series. There are 4. This is the 4th book of 4, and there's another one coming out next year. There's one about the evil queen. There is one about the beast, one about Ursula, and then this one is about Mother Gothel, who is my favorite Disney villain. I know you're not supposed to love the villains, but I really, really love her. But anyway, this book tells her story, and what I really, really love about this series is not only does it like keep you invested and engaged from the very beginning, but it tells the stories of the villain in the way that they connect to the princesses and the storylines of the movies that they play in. So I really, really, I mean, each book gets better and better. So I am definitely looking forward to the next book that comes out next year, and of the complete entire series with my non-biased opinion. This one was definitely the best one so far. So I have definitely been enjoying these, and I definitely recommend these. These are not just young adult novels. Trust me. Trust me. They're really good. I would recommend them to anyone. Well, not anyone, but anyone 12 and older. The next book that I got is a playbook, 52 Rules to Aim, Shoot, and Score in This Game Called Life by Quam Alexander. So sorry, I'm butchering this author's name probably. But what drew me to this book is the fact that, one, a lot of my students are super into sports, especially basketball. So one of the things that I aim to do is to get books that are geared to their likes and what they do outside of school if they're in extracurricular activities. And so to get them engaged and actively reading, I like to get books that are tailored to their likes. So one of the things that I thought was pretty cool about this book is it actually has a basketball texture on the inside of the book. And it is also filled with quotes from various sports stars like Serena Williams, Michael Jordan, things like that. And so not only just teaching the kids to enjoy reading, but actually allowing them to learn life lessons from it. It's a double whammy. I love books like that, so I definitely had to make sure to add it to my classroom. Next up, another Disney book. I don't know if I mentioned this already. Chalk it up to my bad memory. But I have a Disney themed classroom, so a lot of the books that I get not only feeds my Disney obsession, but they fit into the theme of my Disney classroom. So the next book that I got is actually a book from a Twisted Tale series. I know, Disney series, villains, I get it. But anyway, this is a Twisted Tale series about the Beast. I actually have 3 of these books currently in my possession, and I have 2 more that are going to be delivered on Saturday. So I now have all 5 of the 5 books in the series. Some of my students have already began reading some of these books, because I'll show you another one that I've already had in my classroom. I have the first 2 in my classroom. I just got this one yesterday, and then like I said, I'll get the other 2 on Saturday. But they have already started reading them, and they really, really enjoy it. And again, if I can get books that engages my students into actively wanting to read and to get excited about reading, then I will buy the whole series if I have to. Okay. So my students had read the first 2, and they began asking about the rest of the books in the series. So I gave them the rest of the book in the series. I bought it. They have another one coming out, I think, also in March. So when that comes out, I will definitely be adding that to the classroom as well. This is also a book that I am looking forward to being able to read personally. So they say it's pretty good. So I'm excited about it. Since we were talking about this series, I also have the first book in the series. Now, this has already been in my classroom, and I'll maybe do another video about how my classroom library is set up. But it is already labeled with a green sticker, and I have tape on top of it just so that the sticker won't come off. This is one of my library management tips that I do to help keep my library organized at school. This is the first book in the series, and as you can see, my little bookmark sticking out. I just started reading this last night. This is one of the books that I will be reading for leisure, so I'm super excited about it. So far, it already starts off with action, so I'm definitely interested in keeping on reading. And so this is another book that I would definitely be recommending to all. So another series, not feelings based. Actually, I think it is. I take that back. So this is another series that I have, Kingdom Keepers. This is the first book in the series. I brought this home because I was supposed to read it this week, and that did not happen. I actually had began reading this book in the summer, but when I got Mother Knows Best about Mother Gothel, I of course dropped this book, and I will come back to it later. There are just other books that I would like to read before finishing or reading this one and getting started in the series. But I have the first 5 books in my collection. I believe there are 9 books total for this series, maybe 10. So I will definitely be getting all of these. The kids haven't really been that interested in this book, although I have moved it in 3 different locations in the library. So I will definitely be reorganizing my library just so they can see it. But I am definitely interested in reading this too. And if you can see, this looks like Maleficent. So it's probably going to be pretty good. All right, moving on along. I only have 5 more books and a little somewhat book left. So let me go and get through it. So the next book that I have is called Piecing Me Together by Renee Watson. So I was definitely excited to see this book, and it looks pretty good. This is another book that I will definitely be reading for myself. It had a lot of good ratings on Amazon. So although I am not very familiar with this author or any of her other works, I am definitely excited to add this to the classroom and to allow my students to be able to read this. So hopefully they enjoy it. Another book that I got, I was inspired by my mom. She is a 7th grade reading intervention teacher. I am an 8th grade ELA teacher. We work about 3 or 4 classrooms down from one another, and I actually have her former students. So my mom got this book and added it to her classroom, and because I try to get books that surpass a specific genre and relate to both history and math, I definitely wanted to add some science. And of course, next book I got is another Disney book. Now, because I have students that are reading at lower levels than others, like I actually have a few students that are still reading on an elementary level, I try to get books that range drastically as far as vocabulary and levels. So I got this Disney Storybook Collection book. I actually have 4 total of these, not this exact one, but of this Disney Storybook Collection series. I have multiple. One is actually for my niece. I am holding it for her until she can start reading and she gets older. So it is over there on my personal bookshelf. I will not be taking that into the classroom. But I have Disney and Pixar storybooks, and so one thing that I really enjoy about this is the fact that it tells the story of the movies, but it is short and condensed. It has pictures. It still gives higher level vocabulary, but it is not too difficult for some of my students. They may get frustrated with some of the other texts that I have in the classroom. Additionally, they just love these books. So I have this, and I have a couple more that I want and that I will be getting and adding to the classroom. Another book that I was inspired by my mom to get is the 50 Women in Science, the 50 Women Pioneers who Changed the World. So again, I wanted to add some more science, and I also wanted to be an inspiration to some of my female students that the sky is the limit for them, literally. So definitely added this Women in Science. And it basically just gives a little bit of background information about some of the women that have contributed and how they have contributed and things like that. So pretty interesting, and I think that they will enjoy it. And then last, but certainly not least, this is not a book, but this is definitely something. Hey y'all, as I'm sitting here editing this video, I've realized how many times I said definitely. So if you've noticed how many times I did, go ahead and leave a comment below. And if not, cool. Just thought I'd point it out. That I picked up in Disneyland when I went there a couple of weeks ago with my mom and my niece. And this is a Life magazine about Mickey Mouse turning 90. As a lot of us know, Mickey Mouse just celebrated, Mickey and Minnie, let's be clear, they just celebrated their 90th birthday. And sorry if this lighting gets a little weird. I'm working with natural light here. But they just celebrated their 90th birthday. And I actually have a couple of the other Disney Life editions. So I definitely wanted to add this to my collection. I do have one student who is obsessed with Disney. She is probably more obsessed than I am. And so she really enjoys, like when she finishes her work, she loves reading and rereading my Disney books and my magazines, and I leave them in a special place just so she can have easy access without being a disruption or without throwing her off of her regular routine. So once I saw this, I definitely had to have it. And then on the back, it has Walt Disney drawing Mickey Mouse and Steamboat Willie, which is actually where Mickey Mouse made his debut. And funny enough, I actually just bought a Steamboat Willie plush that I added into my classroom, and then I will definitely do maybe like a classroom walkthrough video, just so you can see how my classroom is set up and what I mean by having a Disney theme. So with that being said, that was the last item that I have for this haul. I will definitely be doing more hauls in the future if that is something that you guys are interested in. I know personally I love watching hauls of various kind. I love watching Disney hauls. I love watching book hauls. I love watching teacher supply hauls, shopping. Anything that has to do with shopping, I am here for it. So again, once again, if you haven't already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below and hit the bell just so you can get notifications every time that I post. With that being said, I hope you have a wonderful, magical rest of your day, and I will see you next time.